when I say I have, you say respect. I have. Respect. I have. Respect. Yes, we do. So let's respect our speakers. We're going to make some time adjustments, and let me worry about the time, and I will make sure that you all get what you all need. So we're going to keep this day flowing. Welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful lunch. And we are getting ready to hear from our first post-lunch speaker regarding caregiving and healthcare playing a crucial role in shaping public perception, influencing policy decisions, and driving social change. The question we pose is, what role can mass media play in raising awareness about the importance of self-care and mental health for caregivers and healthcare professionals, as well as all of us in the room? Please join me in welcoming Traci Lamb, the CEO and founder of Sammrt Caregiving LLC, as she presents Caregiving and Healthcare in Mass Media in 2023.
Bright light. Hello, everybody. I want to thank everyone for being here, and I want to specifically thank HEAL Conferences and everything that they've done. I want to thank them for putting on a fantastic conference that I think everybody has really enjoyed. I also want to thank Dr. Natanya Wachtel, I think she just walked out, and New Solutions Network. I know they helped organize this, so I want to thank them. And I personally want to thank Dr. Natanya. She is an amazing and brilliant woman. If you do not know her or are not doing business with her, you need to. She's an amazing person, and she helped navigate me through some difficult times over the last year, so I admire her more than she will know, but I just wanted to publicly thank her. So my story, just a little bit of my backstory. My backstory is that I got into legal straight out of college. I'm a certified paralegal from Boston University, and was, yeah, go be you. And ran a couple of law firms for about 7 years, and got burnt out dealing with attorneys. So ended up going into the recruiting space, and ended up successfully owning and running my own recruiting business for about 4 years. And after about 4 years, my ex-husband and I were about to kill each other for working together for 4 years. So I ended up going to work for hospice. And over the next 15 years, I ended up working for hospice. And during that time, I ended up basically being able to see what I thought was a gap in the healthcare industry. And that was basically anyone who took care of their mom, their dad, their special needs child, that they weren't, quote, sick enough for hospice care. They didn't know what to do or where to go for resources. And I thought that was kind of crazy. So back in 2019, I'd gotten divorced, and I ended up deciding to start my own business. So this is basically what I created. When I started the company, it is a global directory of companies that offer products and resources who help those who take care of a loved one at home. Show of hands, who in the room has taken care of a mom, a dad, or a special needs child? And I can raise my hand because I take care of my 83-year-old mom. Okay, who in the room has not ever had to take care of anybody that they love? Anybody that hasn't had to do that? Okay, well, I created the company for both of us, both sides of the equation, because the reality is that, like a lot of people have said before me in this particular setting, preparation is the key to aging, and preparation is the key to someone getting older and someone actually ended up finally passing, because unfortunately this is a line that none of us get out of unless we end up losing our lives early for whatever reason. So in 2019, I started my company. By 2021, I was doing well. I had gotten some traction, hadn't made any money yet, was getting some traction though. And I am the middle child, older sister, younger brother. My older sister died 15 years ago at the age of 47 in a car crash. My younger brother died 5 years ago at the age of 47 from alcoholism. So when COVID hit, I moved in with both my parents, and in September of 21, they both started actively declining. And up until then, I tell people, you know, I could talk the caregiver talk, but I had not had to walk the caregiver walk. And it is very different talking it rather than walking it. And so I was all of a sudden thrust into it, like it happens with most people. And even though I knew about resources, it was a very difficult time. So over the next 11 months, I had to put my entire company on hold for 11 months. And my dad ended up passing away in February of last year. And when he died, I found out he was completely penniless. Didn't have a dime to his name. And my mom got $5,000 when he died. And so in May of last year, I was working from home, taking care of mom, trying to keep a roof over our heads. And mom came to me and said, I want you to take dad's last $5,000 and go all in your business. And I am a person of faith. And I prayed that night. I was like, God, I literally have no backup plan, like none. And I really thought that within 90 days I'd be completely out of business. And God apparently had other plans. So this is basically what's happened and what's been created. So Sammrt Caregiving is a company that we basically globally market companies through TV and radio to help companies raise their voices above the competition and help connect them with people who take care of their loved ones at home worldwide. It is a completely free service to caregivers worldwide. We never charge anything to them. I've been a caregiver. I know what it's like to have absolutely no money and be at a place where you really need help. So I wanted to try and create a resource for them that they wouldn't have to pay for. The value for our companies is they get to be on radio shows, they get to be on TV, and we'll go into that further here shortly. Is this working? Well, maybe, or maybe not. Can you move forward? Okay, go ahead. Go to the next one. So I ended up when my dad, when I decided to go forward, within the first 90 days, I got my first radio show. Radio show based out of Palm Beach County, Florida. It's Legends Radio, been around for about 40 years. And I'm on every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 9:30. Have about 150,000 targeted senior market. So we have about 150,000 listeners that hit us, that listen to us. And I basically market my companies and tell people about, and I always also use it as an education platform. You know, part of the reason I created my company, it's part of what everybody has been saying all along, is education needs to be understood. People don't understand about hospice. When I tell them my father was in hospice care for 2 years, people just go into shock because they don't understand. They don't understand about hospice. Same thing for palliative care. They don't understand about palliative care. They don't understand about long-term care insurance. I mean, there's just a plethora of things that people don't have any clue about and how they understand them. So I use all of my platforms to try and educate people as well as connect them to resources. My second radio show launched this year. It's called Ask the Expert. It streams on 3 different talk radio shows. It hits about 200,000 people. It's an hour-long show, and I bring people on, and they actually are experts in their field. The TV show, the way that happened was just, I tell people it was a God thing, because it certainly wasn't me. I was asked back August of last year to come to an Emmy Award-winning TV anchor in town, had her own show, and she heard what I was doing, and she said she really wanted to have me on her show. She asked me to bring a client, and in August, from May to August, I had gotten 1 client, and he was kind enough to come. So he came on the show with me, and the TV executives there basically asked me, you know, well, what do you do? And so I told them, and I basically said, you know, there's literally nothing about caregiving in all of TV, and it's completely crazy. You know, the reality is there's over 55 million of us just in the US alone. There's over 300 million worldwide, and that number is growing daily, just like Ryan and Eric said. And so the reality is that it needs to be, I said it needs to be addressed, and I said somebody is eventually gonna get into TV. So that started the conversation. And in January of this year, we launched the show Caregiving Worldwide. And I will get in just a second on another slide with the company that I work with. Caregiving Worldwide is a streaming show. It's streamed. It's on Roku, Hulu, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Google TV. When the show initially launched, I really didn't know what was going to happen, honestly. I thought I'd be lucky if I'd have, 10 people that were all friends and family be watching. And I was just like, hopefully everybody else will. It may or may not work, I mean, when you do stuff like this, you don't know. You have no clue. It's like, okay, well, I'll just tell all my really good friends and family, and we'll maybe have like 35 people, And I was actually shocked when they told me, the first show launched, and I called them, and I was like, okay, analytics. And they said 1,000 people watched the first show. And I was like, really? 1,000 people watched? Because I was just like in shock, because I honestly had no idea if there would be, how many people would actually truly watch. So it actually blossomed in ways that I have never dreamed possible. I mean, after 10 episodes, we had grown over 1,995%. We have over 600,000 people who have viewed it worldwide. It's now been seen on 7 continents. And Thank you. It's not me. And so we've been very fortunate that the company that I work with has now awarded me a whole network, and they've now awarded me a whole network of shows. You can go to the next slide. So the really fun part of it is now they've basically given me carte blanche that I can create any kind of TV shows that we want to create. So I'm currently in process, in pre-production of 4 new TV shows, but coming out all before the end of the year, because I want people to understand. There's just so much information, as everybody has seen from this conference. I had never even thought about education, and I've met so many wonderful education people here that now I'm like, okay, I got to do an education show now. I mean, it's just crazy, but some of the shows that are going to be coming out before the end of the year, we are going to be having a military veteran show for military and veteran caregivers. We're going to also be doing a B2B show. I've met a lot of companies that are B2B, they're not B2C. So we're going to be calling it Healthcare Innovators in Business, and that's going to be a B2B show. We also, like some of these other women that have talked up here, we're going to do one called And in Heels, and it is about women empowerment, and it is about women, women who have done what they needed to do to go through some difficult times and have been able to do what they needed to do. So that is really going to be great. We're also planning on doing a healthcare AI show. We're also planning on doing a Latino Hispanic show because I want to be able to get into all the diversity. You can go to the next slide. And then one of the big shows that I am wanting to, that we are going to be launching this year is basically a QVC for caregiving type show. And I basically want to have multiple products on shows. The shows are going to be themed, so caregivers can go and see the bathroom show and see all the products that can help with a bathroom, or kitchen show, or see all the products that can help with the kitchen. I mean, there's so many different fantastic companies, literally worldwide, and it's crazy because nobody can find a one-stop shop to be able to help them. And that's basically what I'm trying to create. There's going to be a website that's basically going to be like an Angie's List for caregivers. And so all of the different products and services are all going to be listed in one place. So they can just basically go in there and be able to look at all these different resources and be able to find them. We are going to be doing a mental health show, Mental Health Matters. We're going to be speaking to mental health issues. We also are going to be doing a show called The Hope Shot. The Hope Shot is a podcast, currently the biggest one in the world for addiction and recovery. Obviously, addiction and recovery is close to my heart because of what happened with my brother. And so we're going to actually be turning that into a TV show. Confessions of a Reluctant Caregiver is currently a podcast, and the same thing, we're going to actually be turning that into a TV show. They've actually partnered with the biggest podcast over in the UK that has over 14 million listeners. So we're going to be turning that into a TV show about actually talking to caregivers and the not so fun side of caregiving, because caregiving cannot be fun sometimes. My father was military, and at times he was a very difficult patient. We'll just put it like that. I'm currently also in talks with a woman who has the only animated TV show which will feature children with disabilities. The actual main character of that show actually has Down syndrome. And so she actually already has a very successful show on the Angel Network. And it's in like season 4 or season 5, so she's already done that successfully. So she's got a really good platform as well. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, and then go one more. So our strategic partners currently, I'm currently working with a company called Stargate Worldwide Media Group. CP Communications. CP Communications is the company that I currently work with that does my TV show. They have been in network TV for over 37 years. Everything you've ever seen on TV, they've done. Super Bowl, PGA, pretty much everything. They professionally produce, edit, and distribute the show worldwide. So I work with them, and they have a multi-million-dollar studio facility here in Tampa, and one in LA, and Dallas, and Atlanta. And I work with the one here. So they do everything professional. So I always tell people, it's not some person in a with a green room background and an Apple phone. It's actually done professionally. So Tactical Rehab, Tausi, LightMD. I've been working with the LightMD for a couple of years now. Ryan Buck and Eric Saylor. I met them 3 years ago at a conference just like this. And so I had invited them to come here, so I'm super glad that they're all here. So those are all our sponsors and strategic partners. And if you can go one more. I think we're close to being done. Next slide, there you go. Oh, go ahead and go through the next couple of these. This is I'm just basically telling you about these different companies. And then this is our give back. We are actually currently in the process of becoming a 501c3. We will actually be officially a 501c3 within the next 30 days. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I want to be able to do some things for caregivers that really, honestly, as a for-profit company, I can't. I want to be able to have caregiver retreats. I want to be able to do some kind of a big musical thing, kind of like a Farm Aid for caregivers. I want to be able to raise a lot of money to be able to help caregivers in a whole different way. So there's a lot of different things I want to be able to do, and really, honestly, turning into a 501c3 is really just going to be able to help things get better. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I do want to just say in closing, just a couple of quick things. Rosalind Carter said it best. There are 4 kinds of caregivers in this world. There are those that have been caregivers, those that are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who need caregivers. And that's the reality. The reality is that if you have not been, you one day will be. It will one day touch you. And one of the biggest things that I tell everybody is that you have to prepare. My sister, when they were talking about advanced directives earlier with Ryan, my sister and my brother didn't have advanced directives. And my sister had 2 children when she died. And so her 2 children ended up having to go back to a very abusive home life. And then my brother ended up not having advanced directives either. And he ended up going on a ventilator for 9 days, and my parents had to be the one to say, turn off the machine. So when you don't have advanced directives and something sudden happens like that, the family that's left is the ones that get hurt. So it is to your benefit, it is to your loved one's benefit to get advanced directives. I know nobody likes to talk about it. I worked at hospice long enough to know, I came home and told my dad I was gonna have a hospice nurse talk to him, and he goes, Trace, I'm not dying. And I'm like, I know, but Dad, sometimes you need help. you know, and you have to understand, like I say, this is not a line that we're going to get out of. You know, we're all in the same line. And so it is coming. It's like, you know, death and taxes. It is coming. So the best thing to do for you and your family is to prepare for it. And the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll take any questions that anybody has, is that, you know, we live in a really selfish world. You know, we live in a world of selfies, for crying out loud. And so, you know, the reality is that at the end of the day, after you've lived your life, and I've been by the bedside of far too many people that I love that have gone on. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you've made, how many cars you have, how big a house you have, what trips you go on. You know, it matters if you made a difference in the people's lives that you could touch. And that's what's important. So, questions, please. I'm horrible. This is why I was like, okay, I got to really get through this. They made me, I was really glad we had lunch before I came up here. I was like, thank you. Thank you. All right, good. Did anybody have any questions?
I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
Not everybody can do what you've been called to do. Not everybody can be there to nurture the end of life. It requires a special, unique quality in a person to be able to do that. And not just for one person, but for several. And then to lobby and to have the love to reach out for those that are in that position that don't know how to be able to get past what they have endured. So I thank you for who you are and what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, it's really weird, too, is that people say, you know, oh, wow, you have a TV. And, you know, to me, honestly, TV and radio are just a platform. Truly, it's just a platform. And for me, I don't look at it as, oh wow, I don't look at it that way. All I look at it as is I get to get more people help. I just get to get more people help. And that's all I'm wanting to do. So if I can affect 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, then that's more people that can get help because they really, really need it. Okay, and I'm done.
One more question.
Oh, I can take one more question. Okay, so did anybody else have any other questions? Well, I'm glad. I did, by the way, shout out to the professor and his little app for helping you prepare for, because honestly, this is probably only the second time I've done public speaking. I'm used to TV where you can back up and you can go, okay, let's redo. I'm not used to doing the whole public speaking thing where you can't back up and redo. So that's why I was like, okay, well, we'll sort of kind of do this, but anyway, but thank you for your patience and listening and being kind. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Traci. That was very profound. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your strength. Let's give her another round of applause.